And today I'm taking a look at the LA Chargers versus the Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football. This is one of my more favorite Monday Night Football matchups this year. Great division rivalry, Justin Herbert versus Derek Carr. It's going to be a shootout in my opinion. But before I give my take on the matchup, to break down the prediction, the projection, everything you want and need to know for this game, I got to hear your guys' take. What is your score prediction? Who will win this? Drop it down below. You think it's a shootout, a blowout, a one-score game, whatever it is, comment down below. Getting us right into it, though, as you can see, the Chargers are favored 60% to 39.7. That seems a little extreme. When you see that 39, you're like, oh, they're in the threes, they're in the 30. That's not that good, but do that 0.3% tie. If it was 60-40, it'd seem a lot more even, but just probably throws you off because of that. That's probably one of your more even games this week, 60-40 split. As close as you're really going to get is 55-45, 52-48. I think was the closest I've seen. The Broncos and Ravens one was very, very close to almost being 50-50. But you're going to see a game out there like the Bills-Texans that is, who knows, 92.8%, if that. So this is actually pretty even. Breaking it down right away, Derek Carr versus Justin Herbert. Who's winning the quarterback matchup? I think personally, a lot of people have both of these guys on their top 10 quarterbacks as of right now, as of this moment. And I don't know if anyone had them in their top 10s last year. Last year, after Justin Herbert's phenomenal rookie year, I had him at number 10 in my quarterback rankings. Not 9, not 11, not 8, not 12, 10. Now I definitely have him in there. I don't know how. I haven't made my exact rankings today, but I feel like he's definitely in there. And Derek Carr last year had him right behind Herbert at 12 or 13, 11, one of those two. But now I think they're both deserve to be in there. Derek Carr is playing like an MVP, 1,200 yards. He has had 2 extra quarters than everyone else to do that, but still, pass attempts and pass completions, he's even with Herbert and still has those more yards, and yards aren't everything, but just giving examples, Derek Carr is playing phenomenal. He's playing his best yet as far as starts go. I know everyone says the Raiders are going to collapse, but if Derek Carr keeps playing like this, who knows? But again, who's winning this? To me, the way I look at it, Justin Herbert has much more God-given skill than Derek Carr. He's a natural passer. He's bigger. He's stronger. He's faster. His ceiling is as high as anyone in the NFL for Justin Herbert. But Derek Carr having more maturity and more experience, not to say Justin Herbert isn't mature, he's not Johnny Manziel or Baker Mayfield by any means, but just saying as far as wisdom and knowledge of the NFL goes, Derek Carr has several years on him. So I think there's an argument to both. I think Derek Carr just has a slight edge over knowing more football as of this moment, but Justin Herbert's ceiling of surpassing Derek Carr is much, much higher than him. So it just really depends on who you like in that matchup, but I do personally like Justin Herbert a little bit more. Backfield, not knowing the status of Josh Jacobs exactly, not knowing the status of the entire running back room. Ken Drake, he just didn't get the job done last week. That's why they handed it over to Peyton Barr, who had a crazy game. I mean, kudos to him. But just not knowing the exact status of who's playing and who's 110%, I'd probably give it to the more healthy and the more consistent Austin Eckler and the Chargers for backfield. But it's close. It just really depends on the status. If Josh Jacobs is 125%, I guess I should stop exaggerating, but just 100% healthy and ready to go, I would say he's better than Austin Eckler, but we haven't seen that in a little bit. So, receiving room, it depends. Do you count tight end or not? Because if you count the tight end, it's going to be hard to say the Chargers are better than what Darren Waller's got over there. Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, Henry Ruggs, Bryan Edwards. But the one thing I will say, if you look at just the receivers, I like the Chargers better than them. Mike Williams is playing he's I think, the number 1 or number 2 player in fantasy for receivers. And obviously, that doesn't matter for this game. We want to know who's the best, who's winning. But him and Keenan Allen, and whoever you consider the third, Jalen Guyton, Josh Palmer, whoever, I would take over just Henry Ruggs, just Hunter Renfrow, and just Bryan Edwards. I like Henry Ruggs, but I just see too many inconsistent big plays in the sense that his stat line could be 3 catches, 84 yards, and a touchdown, which is great. He got the job done. He had an impact on his team. But I just want to see more consistency in his offense, in his game plan, in his volume. I want to see him get 8 targets consistently in game. And I know that won't always happen. There's a lot of hands on that team to go around. Waller, Edwards, Renfrow, yada, yada, yada. But I just want to see, can he be an actual consistent receiver you could count on game in, game out to just pick up a third down into a first down or just move the chains rather than let's just throw a deep ball and hope Henry Ruggs beat the guy. I just want to see more out of him before I really say he's this all-out dude. But he is playing much better than last year already, so I'll give that credit to him. But either way, it just depends how you look at this room. I think is winning that battle. Offensive line, really tough. I would say the Chargers. I really like Corey Linsley and Rashawn Slater, and then Matt File and Oday Aboushi are getting the job done, but Storm Norton's struggling. On the other hand, I'll see how Alex Leatherwood is. Richie Incognito still yet to play, I'm pretty sure. It just really depends. I think the Chargers are slightly better, but they definitely have an exposure at right tackle. Looking at the defense, front four, and I know some of these don't really have a front four exactly, but just theoretically, front four. I like what the Raiders got. Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue. That's a duo that could get 10 sacks each. Up front, you got Jonathan Hankins as well. Carl Nassib coming in and out. Chargers, I love Joey Bosa, but I feel like after him, there is no playing level to match him like the Raiders have. They have Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue to bounce off each other. The Chargers, Joey Bosa's got himself, and I think Linval Joseph's good, and I think Jerry Tillery is good, but when you're talking about guys like Max Crosby, they just don't live up to that level. So I would say Chargers still got a pass rush, but I would say the Raiders is slightly better if you consider the depth to it. Linebacker core, I like Kenneth Murray a lot. The Raiders got some steals there. They got Denzel Perryman, a former Charger. KJ Wright picked him up out of free agency, and they got Littleton as well. I like the Raiders linebacker core a little bit more. I love Kenneth Murray, but I think he's just a little bit too young. And not to say he's the captain of this team, but to captain this linebacker core compared to the Raiders, who got plenty of experience and plenty of youth. They got a good mix of talent all around. I would say the Raiders have the edge there. Secondary, I like the Chargers in this one. You see right there, Derwin James is a little questionable. At this point, I think the Chargers fans, if all Derwin James is questionable, you're probably happy. Because based off the 2 years, you just want him to be on that field. You don't care if it's killing him. If he's playing the game, you're fine. Because the past 2 years, he's barely played, 5 games over the past 2 years. So if he's just questionable, that's a good thing. But due to having him, the way Tavon Campbell played last week, the way Asante Samuel Jr. is playing, Nasir Adderley, Michael Davis, I like them slightly better than the former Charger Casey Hayward, Jonathan Abrams, Javon Morg. Home field advantage just go to the Chargers. So both of these teams got their pros, both of them got their cons, both of them have their advantages in this matchup. But who's winning this football game, if you ask me? Personally, I love the Chargers in this one. I think being at home and the Raiders being on this undefeated run, not to say the Raiders aren't deserving of it. They've been balling out and they've been winning rightfully, but I just think that it won't last forever. And this is big for the Chargers. They can win this one. And I'm not saying the Raiders don't have a chance. I won't even say they have a chance for an upset. I do think this game is going to be very, very close. It's a division rivalry. It's Monday Night Football. Raiders are hot. The Chargers are hot too. But just given the factors that being at home, coming off a hot win, and the Raiders being on, I don't want to say this lucky streak, but I'm not calling it luck, but no team goes undefeated. A loss comes eventually, and a division rival is the perfect place for it to happen. I just think with Herbert's ceiling, in a shootout, I truly believe in a shootout, Herbert will not lose. I haven't really seen a full-on shootout with him yet. I expected it to be Dallas, but Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott had other things in mind. And then with the Chiefs, it was kind of a shootout, but just so many turnovers and so many weird things. I don't know. I think you could call the Chiefs a shootout game, but I'm just saying full-on, blow for blow, score for score, drive for drive. I'm not sure the Chargers and Justin Herbert will lose. I'm not saying this game has to end that way or will go that way. But if it does, I got my money on the guy with some of the best God-given skill in recent NFL history. Either way, Raiders got a shot. I think it'll be close. But Chargers, they are looking good. This is a huge dominant win if they can win this one. Not as big as the Chiefs by any means, but looking at the Chargers schedule, from weeks 3 to 6, I was nervous because I play the Chiefs, then the Raiders, and the Browns and the Ravens. I might have the Browns and Ravens alternated, but I know they play each other in week 5 and week 6, and week 7 is a bye. I said if they could go into week 7 being 500 across those 4 games, 2-2 over that 4-week span, they're a playoff team because that is a very, very tough schedule. They already got one win, and with this one, they've already matched. So I believe the Chargers, I believe they could go 2-2 over that span, if not 3-1, if not 4-0. But it's all got to start with this game. 1 week at a time, see if they can take this one out. I do think they'll edge out the Raiders, but it will be a great game. I'm going to say the exact score of what the Chiefs game was. 30-24. Los Angeles Chargers advance to 3-1. Raiders tie them at 3-1, but the Chargers are 2-0 in the AFC West. As always, and of course, guys, thank you for watching. Good morning.